Hello and welcome back to the next installment of my mapping series. Before we start up the editor again, I'm actually going to go back a bit. I decided that I want to edit the initial detail texture a bit more. Namely, I want to have some of that pink stuff, so that snow with vegetation sticking through it, also more inside the forested area here. So how are we going to achieve that the easiest? Yeah, I think I know. So first of all, let's copy this. Now, let's do it really weird. Copy this. Just fill it with black. Oh, it was already set to black here. Fill that with black. Alright. Then we will do the following. We will go to... You know what? We will reuse the forest basic stuff here. Put that in there. Actually, I wouldn't even have had to fill that with black then. Alright. And then add the black part from the... what's it called? From the forest plan here. From the alpha texture of that, or the alpha channel. Like this. Yep, that should be the black part. Copy that out. Question is, can I just add this to here now? Yep, that was easy. Okay, now what we will do is mess with this a little bit. You know what we could do, for example? Add a filter, some kind of art filter, just to look a bit, make it look a bit more organic. Why does this say outdated? What would that change? Mess around with that a bit. Okay, let's see what that does. Oh, that will take a while. Oh, that would take ages actually. This might have been a huge mistake. Probably I should have put up the contrast first. So, what are you planning to do over the summer? I'm making a map. Yep, the magic of mapping. Nice to have a creative hobby like this. Still loading. This may have been a huge mistake. Like in general. So, how about that local sports team? Still going. And that did absolutely almost nothing. It actually did something probably when I zoom in, but okay, there was huge waste of everybody's time. Let's instead change the contrast and the brightness a bit. Okay, I see what the problem is. Okay, I'll put it like this. Yes, okay. Then posterize it. Then what we will do is pick the darker areas and completely fill them with black. Okay, needs a bit higher tolerance here. We'll need to change this until we actually, yep, like this. Fill that, okay. So now I want to get rid of those really sharp edges, and I actually might do that by hand. You know what? Yeah, why not? It will make it look a bit less sharp, and you can also see how to do that in case you don't want to use Void Machine to get like organic looking stuff. So basically what you can do is take one of those acrylic or similar what's it called, similar brushes, and then just do it like this, make it a bit bigger maybe, yeah, just mess with the edges a bit. And then of course we have to posterize it again, I just realized, so probably that was a waste of time, but everything to make it look a bit more random. Yeah, we're gonna posterize it again after this. Yeah, not the most elegant method I ever used, but it works. Point is to get a bit of coverage from the from that other texture inside the forests to mix up the grass a bit. The grass will still be on top to put like highlights in, so to speak, but it's fine. Okay, a bit more here maybe. Alrighty, let's do the posterizing thing again. That should actually, no, first posterize it. Posterize. Okay. And then select again, fill with black, done. Okay, now it looks cool. And that's something that you just can't paint easily in the editor. Alrighty, so what we will do now is, first of all, delete this one, don't need it after all, but now we will select all the white parts, ta-da, copy that shit, and if we put it, let's make it invisible, if we put it first into here, oh no, let's put it first into the detail one. That was detail blue. Let's put it into here. Okay, and then we just take the whole detail blue alpha layer and put it into the color erosion, so we can see it in game. So okay, fair enough. And it's good that I waited with that because it made me see the it made it easier for me in the editor to see where these erosion lines are inside the forest, so I did actually lower the terrain under them, so that's fine. This shit can go. Dunsky. Okay. And we have updated our texture. Look at it from up close. Yep. That will look neat in game, I think. Look at this due to me switching, or not switching, flipping the, or inverting the color earlier, you know, in the second video when I made the forest color. Now it looks like there's actually snow gathering around those parts with the where the dry grass would stick out. Gonna look nice. And these are the kind of effects you can paint in the editor easily, where you just have a, what's it called, you just have a round brush. Yeah. That being said, generally speaking, this is of course not the most complex map in terms of texture, simply for obvious reasons, I think, simply because it's a snow map, of course. So yeah, save it, and then we need to export this, and I don't think I'm going to show this again, because why would I? But I will export this using the normal method that I already showed with the BF2 mod toolkit. So this is mass exported image, right? Yeah, that's the normal exported image. Yep, overwrite that shit. And then this is the exported. Let's double check it just to see if there's any wonkiness going on here. No, doesn't look like it. Goodie. So, no weird colors that could mess up the detail map, because that could become a problem, but seems I did it right. If not, I have a huge problem, but okay. Let's export this to exported image 1. Okay. And the rest I will do off camera. Alright, and here we are. Now the map's a lot more pink, and we can more easily see where the forests are as well. Gonna be nice. So, before I fucking forget, resave that shit. Never forget to resave it, otherwise everything will be overwritten. Because it's only in the editor files. So, while that thing is saving, what will we do today? Or rather this morning. Not 100% sure, but I think I'm actually gonna start with some object placement. Namely, and the way I do it is I usually go in 2 waves. I do object placement in 2 waves. One is for major objects that are gameplay relevant. Meaning buildings, you know, fences around gardens, major cover objects, that kind of thing. And there I go sector by sector. I usually start, when I do a sector push map, I usually do the main bases last, because for some reason I don't have that great ideas for those. And I instead usually start with the first sector that will be attacked. Is there a reason for that? Nope. No reason. Just because I can, I guess. And I mean, who's going to stop me? You? Anyway, so in this case, what I want to start with is the village of Toropino over here. And anyway, as I said, what I do is, so over here, the village of Toropino. So basically what I do is I start with that sector and then I move out from there. And once I have done that first pass, I do a second pass. First, after I place the major gameplay objects, the major static objects, I usually then place a rudimentary gameplay layer with flags, spawn points and so on, and then I add the map to the beta for the beta testers to check out and that kind of stuff. And then after that I do another pass over the map, placing detail objects that are mostly there for making the map look better. As well as telling little stories on the map, and also to place additional cover objects when I notice that an area is maybe a bit too empty in that regard. Alright, so Toropino, what we will do there is first of all, of course I need a kind of plan. What will this sector look like? And I've decided to make this completely destroyed. So these villages, since they are not here today, and because the initial bombardment of the Red Army hit this area probably, from the plans, at least that's what it looks like, I will make these villages here completely destroyed, with only the chimneys left standing, because we have that nice chimney static now. And within the rubble, the Germans are dug in, and luckily we have the nice positions, or we have positions for them where they actually were. I don't have the proper folder open. Projects, Operation Mars, where is it? Here we go. Alright, we will look at this because this has the German positions. Over here we have Toropino. So, the general outline of the village is from the other map, and we already painted that in, and as you can see there were several buildings here. We won't be able to get all of these buildings in, simply because the map scaled down. Now, one major terrain feature that you can see is this weirdly shaped road here, which apparently which then kind of went into a path maybe. And if we look at that here, the same route is here, and also goes on down here way into the Russian main base, and there's actually a building of Farmstead here that will also of course be destroyed. So yeah, we can see the road here. Here's that Farmstead that is in grey on the map, and there were two German MG positions here and here. So for these I need new log bunkers, which I don't have yet. What I will do instead is for now use the modular trenches to place some mortar pits here, which will be the rough size of the log bunkers once they are done, maybe a bit smaller. So I can then switch them out easily later, but I already have something there then. There's 3 MG positions actually, one here, and then one a bit further here. We look at the map in game, that would mean, let's go into the detail mode, get into soldier mode, and it turns you around and it's completely distracting. So this is where the farmstead will be. So there will be a destroyed building here with a chimney and what's it called? Some fences around. And then there is one bunker or MG position directly to the south of it towards the road here, which we will place probably over here, yeah, in this area. I don't know. Now we might actually go a bit different and place it a bit more up here, although I don't want to make it too overpowered, but this here would probably be a better position. And then there would be another one somewhere here, looking in this direction. We'll probably put that on the hill here, looking towards the forest into this direction. And then the other one, if I remember correctly, why does it always zoom out? The other one, if I remember correctly, number 126, I think, is then looking slightly to the north, a bit further down, so that would probably be here. And while that is not present in the actual maps that we have, I'm gonna assume that these were actually connected by trenches to a degree. So yeah, that's our plan. Let's switch back to Hemi map mode, place the destroyed building here. Now we have one destroyed log house, and I will use that a lot, obviously, with some variations probably. One thing here is, though, that these, like you can place them only, because at some point people would notice that we only have one of these. So sometimes it will just be this snowy mound with wood sticking out and a chimney, because usually these buildings were pretty well pulverized, I imagine. And let's see. We will go into the objects and yeah, are you barn damaged? We will use that as well, but probably a bit somewhere else. A bit in the other village, the last one. Okay, here we have the, and we will of course sink this into the ground a lot and make like a mound because it's covered in snow, right? So let's see. Kind of want this to be into the direction of the Russian main base, and then it should look like there was a path going here, so there will be an opening in the fence here. Obviously the fence will also be heavily destroyed, but it makes sense to, if you do these, to make somewhat realistic layouts. So now that we have it here, don't even need to turn it, just to make sure, yeah, like this. And what we will already do is erase the terrain around it and in it. Let's do it, put it on 2 size and 1 strength, so we have, so we have some control over it. Okay, so there's snow covering this this thing. It's basically a ruin. Now later we will also put additional wooden beams and stuff in there, so it looks a bit cooler, but for now it's good to go. go back to Hemi-map mode, and now we will do something that I always do way too much in Eastern Front maps, because it gets really boring. We put fencing around there. So we have several fences for the Eastern Front. I'm gonna go with the, for this one, garden fence or stick fence. Let's start with the easier one to place, which is the stick fence. So, you know what, also what we have to do, yeah, okay, let's first do the fencing, and then after that we will do something else fairly important, which is to set up our detail textures. But okay, because we can do all that in one go, I don't want to go over the map again and paint the detail textures after I do that while I place the stuff. Alright, so put a fence in, and it's already roughly lined up with the outline we have from the military map, and we will sink it into the ground because this is snow, and in fact we will raise the ground around it as well to show snow that is accumulated. Then let's go back to the Hemi-map mode. Actually kind of perfect here. Step down a bit. These are easier to place because you don't have to be as precise compared to, for example, the garden fences that we have. The little mistakes or inaccuracies look way worse due to how the fences are set up. So let's see, where did we want to have the entrance? Probably here where it's closest. Makes the most sense to me. Now maybe I'm being an armchair peasant right now, but that's how I would set up my hut. Obviously that path is now completely gone, and in fact there will probably be a German trench running through there. Like this. Then we have the entrance here. We can make that look nice later. Like this. Okay. Misclicked. Oh, it happens a lot. Yeah, this will be like 90% of how I make these villages. Now one thing you can do to make placement a bit easier is flatten it out, like the area here. And sometimes people did or do actually level the terrain they build their houses on, but it does make the map less complex and cool looking in many ways. But we will do that a bit for the other villages in some cases, I think. We will see. Always also depends on how I want it to play out in the end. Mix it up a bit there. Doesn't have to be 100% correct, because obviously the military map isn't 100% correct, and I also very roughly cut out the shape. But still, it's, in my opinion, it always gives the best results if you actually orient yourself using that kind of shape here. Even if it's only rough. Looks more naturalistic and less designed then. Alrighty. And actually fits quite nice here. Yep, and here it doesn't completely fit. We will see what we'll do about that. So we have the rough outline here. So now what we will do, select a few. Let's take this side first. Then replace them with the, 1 second. No, not rural, fences. With the stick fence bare here, so like this. Just get a bit of variation in there real quick. It's best not to spend too much time on that stuff. There may be more here. Okay, then maybe make a damaged one here. Yep, 5 meter destroyed. Fits perfectly, very nice. So we have a nice outline here. So what we need to do here now is, let's see how we do that best. Let's do one of those trans ones. They don't have a fixed gender. No, but they are a bit shorter. Actually, they aren't, apparently. Wait. Did I misremember that? 1 second. I always thought, yeah, they are a bit shorter. Okay, just not as short as I thought. Let's put that one back. Okay. But what we can do with this then is delete it. But we might use that later to fill some gap. We will have to use the 1 meter one here. And then put poles between that, but we will do that later. 1 sec. So, a bit like this. And then one here, and then it roughly fits in. And what we do then is take one of the poles, stick fence pole, put it in here. Yeah, good enough. And then one down here. Okay. And there's one missing over here as well. Now it will also become a lot easier. Once you start placing objects, it becomes a lot easier to judge distances and where everything is. And then here would be the gate. I'm thinking. I kind of want to damage this a bit more already. Put this in here. Let's make it a bit like this. Turn this a bit. So it looks like the whole thing was a bit damaged and moved. Then take the pole and then we will a bit later, when we edit the terrain, we will make a big shell crater here, because I will cover everything here in shell craters basically. Make one here that goes like this, so it looks damaged, like this got somehow messed up. And then place another one maybe here. I need to be a bit careful. I don't know, do they have vehicle collision? I don't think they have, but you can never be too careful with that stuff. Then later we will move that a bit more when we do the damage. Okay, then let's go to terrain, and first of all we will edit the height map around it to look make it look like this looks truly abandoned and snow has accumulated around the fences. And after that we will set up our actually what we could also kind of do, just slightly hint that there might have been a path here. But what we can also do then is set up our second wave of detail textures, which we will actually use for detailing. So make it look snowy and nice. Here I will also put a shell crater so it looks like this was blown in mods. And this will also be nice for gameplay, I believe. Like this. Okay, looks really nice and abandoned then. Alright, then let's do our texture setup, or the rest of it. We already automatically generated part of our textures here. The first three, now we will do the next ones. The first one I want is disturbed snow, and I don't think we have that kind of texture. So I actually will make a new one later, completely new, from scratch, so to speak, unless I find something really amazing here. But until then, we will simply use some other texture and already paint it, because why the fuck not? Let's see, is there anything interesting here? Maybe something from Amherst River. Ice, snow grass, dirt, snow, snow leaves, dirt, mud. Northwind frozen. That looks wonky. Let's use that. As I said, only a placeholder anyway. Who cares? Make it into snow, of course. It's always down here. Right. So let's give it a nice color. What color could snow be? I would say blue. Simply so I give them these really strong colors, so when I paint them I see which areas I have already painted at a glance, especially when in snow where everything would otherwise be white. That's really helpful for me. Low detail type is 1. Alright. Then we will paint that. I always paint with 100. And you have to go to detail texture to see what you're painting. And this texture I want to use for detailing where this snow has kind of piled up. And in fact, okay, now paint mode, both color, okay. And in fact, I will soon do that for all the piled up snow around the path that I made. You know, the big road and so on. Make it a bit rough around the edges here. Just some areas. And then I will already paint yeah, you know what, I'm gonna diverge a bit from my usual stuff and make this area real nice, but not so in the sense of texturing and basic static placement. I won't place any detail static yet, but yeah, just so you can see where the where the journey will go. So next up we will make some shell craters where I said they would be. Then we will also place some vegetation, like a tree or something that is damaged maybe. We will see what we can do. Leafless trees from the St. Veit folder. So I think inside these ruins, how do I best do that? I think there I will also in some cases paint this, and in some cases just leave it normal snow, just to make it look a bit mixed up. Okay. Nifty. So, next up, save. This will take a short while because saving terrain always takes a bit longer than objects. So next up what I will do is make craters. And it's important that when you do craters, and generally when you do these areas, always use the same techniques and set rules for yourself, right? For example, I set the rule to myself that whenever I have these piled up snow pieces around buildings or around fences and so on, I will use the layer 4 texture around it. When you do that throughout the map, it will look a lot more, what's the best word, a lot more professional, a lot more out of one piece, you know? Also drink something, stay hydrated. Jesus Christ, it takes a while. Okay, so what we will do next is go to grid with texture mode and make our craters. So the way you do craters is you set you take something like strength 3 or something, and then you set 2 brush sizes. So the first one we will set for this will be 5. And then you go where you want the crater to be. Let's say one directly outside here that blew into this. Do it like this, erase the terrain, and then one here. No wait, that's the entry. Then one here. Raise the terrain. And then you set a brush size, let's say roughly 2 or 3 smaller, and do it like this. And that way it looks like the terrain around it was raised a bit by the debris, but generally it's a crater. Ta-da! Crater. It's actually a pretty big one. We should make smaller ones as well. Then we go back to detail texture, set it to 100, paint. So what I want to do first is paint rough snow all around this. So the outline of the crater with rough snow like this. And we will make smaller ones with like size 3 and 1 or something like that. So these are for really big siege guns that they maybe brought up, where they usually don't shoot very fast, so you should have more of the smaller ones, but a few big ones are also nice to have. So, they're like that. Where did I have the second one? Oh, over here. All the rough snow. Painty, painty, paint. Inside is not that important for reasons that I will show you soon. But yeah, so then maybe use these smaller paints to make it a bit more like, oh, there's little chunks of stuff that got thrown around it. Why not? Let's get a bit creative here. Not my strength, but sometimes I do it. So. Okay. Then what we will do is make texture layer 5 mud. And we will just use some maybe Mass River mud or something. This stuff can be changed real easily, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just that you know what is what. Mud cracked? No, not quite. Now where do we have proper mud? Ah, from Siegfried Line, why not? Color, make it a nice sea brown. Again, will all be changed later. Material is of course mud. Mud wet. So detail type is 1. Nifty. And then the where the actual shell hit, we will paint mud. That's actually a nifty texture. Now obviously we have to move that wooden pole now. Do the same here again. Maybe a bit smaller here and add specks of mud around here where material landed from inside the crater. Yep. That will look nice once we properly texture it. But for now it's important that it's there. Same thing here. So what we will do after this probably, thinking about it, we will do after this probably, I'm thinking also add a bunch of trees into this compound, damaged ones. I wonder how much of this I should actually show. Maybe in the future videos I will skip about large parts of doing always the same thing, because as you can imagine, this is what I did for this gray square, and then look at all this shit. Not to mention over there's more built up areas. So as you can imagine, it probably will get a bit boring. So, but these two, and then I will actually place some smaller shell craters around this as well. These are for really, these actually look like aircraft bombs. Let's check them out with the soldier mode. Well, there's some cover there now at least. Textures tiling way too big, but no use to change that now. So these are like aircraft bombs, but I don't want to put too much of these really big ones, so the next ones will be smaller. Then these... Actually, just delete that one. I don't think there would be anything left. Okay, nifty. So, what do we do next? Oh yeah, right. Let's add some vegetation already through to this. Vegetation is in its own folder, and here I want to do the WIP Saint Vite. And for one thing, I want to check that out. I haven't used this in a while, because I haven't really done a snow map in a while. Okay, these bushes, we won't use them here. Maybe later when we're doing the detailing. No, we're just placing big stuff, but these will be instrumental to the look of the map. Because, okay, let's do a little detour for my long-term planning. I want this map to look like winter map, obviously, and we already have them, but I want it to look a lot, or not a lot, but different from our normal or the Ardennes winter maps. And one thing that the thing with the Ardennes winter map, they're obviously mostly great, but they also have something going on that I like to call, except Saint Vite. They have something going on that I like to call the Winter Wonderland feel, where it usually on Bastogne and especially Eppeldorf, it's like this fresh snow, and it actually looks kind of idyllic if there weren't so many tanks around. I want this map to look fucking cold, and I want it to look fucking hostile. I recently played for Gravity Tactics the DLC Under the Cruel Star, it was called. Which is not about this battle, but a later one, also in the winter, for Kharkov. The DLC is called Under the Cruel Star, and that map actually looked cruel. I don't know if you understand what I'm getting at here, but it actually looked cruel. It looked like you don't want to be there, you want to be inside. It looked cold, it had these bushes, these almost black looking bushes and vegetation sticking out of the snow. It hadn't snowed really recently, so there wasn't any snow left on the vegetation, so it looked very hostile. It's hard to explain, but that's kind of the look I'm going for. Anyway, let's get rid of that for now. But I want to look, what else do we have? I think we have, what is that? Okay, that's useful to have. These hedgerow trees, for example, can be used as well as just like this or in hedgerows, but they can also, more importantly, be used to make little varied trees and bushes like this if you place them by hand, and that's what we're going to do here. First of all, I want like a row of trees here, one of which has been almost blown over by the explosion of the aircraft bombs. Like this. These kind of trees you usually have to place by hand. We will do overgrowth later. Now, what you will run into some technical problems if you do it like this, probably in game. If you look at them like up here, they will probably disappear from your view due to how the pivots are set. But that's not a huge deal, and I don't think most people have noticed that this is the case, even though it's the case on a lot of vegetation that we use. Let's make this one a bit smaller, like this. And already this stuff looks a bit different from what you used to on most Ardennes maps. I think this will be this will look a lot more like realistic and as I said, hostile, cruel. A bit higher. This. Actually, that doesn't look destroyed enough. Like this. Then maybe a bit of a bigger tree. No, I don't want to have pines here. Plain damaged. Oh yeah, we have a winter one of this. Okay, that should also be in that corner where the most of the big damage will be. Let's put it into here. Turn it around a bit. And I think also turn it a bit like this, and I think for a big tree like this I will also accumulate snow along the trunk a bit using the height map. Nope, no texture, no that. Like this. Okay. And let's place some more trees. 16 meters, why the hell not? Put one here, maybe another one over here. Note that these are of course completely abandoned, so there won't be as many like civilian details around them than in a normal map, which of course means fucking tool here. Okay, which of course means that instead I have to work a lot more with the height map and snow to make it look detailed and interesting. Okay, look like this. Alright, detail texture. Still not 100% happy with this. Oh yeah, now I know what I forgot. Of course, there has to be the destroyed chimney, which is actually one of those iconic vistas of the Eastern Front. These wooden huts where only the chimney is left standing after damage. Question is, where do we have those? Probably under rural, if I had to guess. As I said, never actually used those. Parasha, what is that? Oh yeah, that, I think that was the toilet that one guy made. Soldier grave, don't need those here. Well, sauna. No, not here. Or have I completely missed it? Chapel, there's no chimney there. It's not under urban, is it? What is that brick ruin? Oh, I think that's one that I put on, what's it called, on Philo. Huh? The fuck? Where could that be? Must be in here, right? Oh, mills. I could actually place mills as well. I don't think there are any there in real life, but nothing is there in real life. But that could be a cool static maybe for the big hill between the forest. And you know what? I know I'm getting sidetracked, but I'm just gonna place those there so I remember that brainwave I just had. Because there's this hill here between the forest and the villages. Here. And that looks like a mill would make sense there. Just gonna place one there. You windmill. Okay, I need to... There is a I will remember to finish that, but yeah, that could be an interesting idea. So what did I want to do? Okay, yeah, right. Where do we have those? Okay, it's certainly not in here. We can place a well though, because why the hell not? Of course, also sink it into the snow, like it's abandoned and snow has accumulated around it. I would classify that as a major static as well. It's not military, is it? Rather than no. No, that's not it. Huh? Where is that? Okay, in that case, what you do? Ask in Discord. Yeah, until then we can already place this. There would be a path going here into... Actually, where is the... Actually, let's turn this around. The entrance of the hut should be in this direction. Just do a rotation 180, like this. Move it a bit. Okay, and then probably the path would be like along here, and this thing would be here. Turn it a bit to make it look a bit more organic. Modify on one, yep. Do it like this so it looks like snow has accumulated around it. And here we go. You know what? Time to save. This will also then add these textures that aren't there yet to the actual non-editor files. So we can finally also see them when we are in grid with texture mode. Otherwise it doesn't work. That's also how you can tell that I did not forget to save the forest cover here. Anybody? Okay, not yet. But seriously, where can they be? They must be in Russia, right? Probably now I'm gonna rewatch the stupid video and be like, ah shit, it's right in my face. So next up, I think I will already start placing these trench positions. Here we go. Or, you know what I will also do is add the actual, like, shell craters, like little shell craters, not big fucking aircraft bombs. But yeah, already have this destroyed Hamlet here. And it would look cool. I mean, obviously that windmill is only the main part and I haven't placed the rest yet, but wouldn't that look cool, having that standing on the horizon there if you attack from this direction? I think that would add a lot to the map. Nobody knows anything. Maybe I can find it after all. It's not under Crimea, is it? No, okay. That's an unfinished map from ages ago. Industry... Military? No. It's not under barn damaged, is it? Chapel, filled tent, greenhouse, hunting tower. Huh. Shrine, soldier grave, the village houses. Where could that be? I would put that into rural. It's not under train? No, of course not. What is that? Oh well, that's that one that I put on Studienka. brick ruin? No. No fucking idea. Alrighty. Then let's take a look at the modular trenches. The locked ones are, I think these aren't... Did we finish those ever? Oh, looks kind of good. I think locked trenches would be appropriate for this. What do we have? M1 flak. And I think this I will take as a placeholder for the lock bunkers that will hopefully be made at some point. Angle. Okay. What is that? Oh, that's actually useful. If it only it was a bit shorter. Then it would be even more useful. Split one. Oh, we even have a tank pit. You can do a lot with a tank pit trench here, because you can make like a shelter bunker out of this. Interesting. Why have I never looked at these? Okay. Let's put all this stuff a bit away from here. And see. I think I want to have one major bunker here and then two smaller MG positions. Let's look at the map. So this is the Hamlet that we just made. Still not 100% sure what this here is supposed to be honest. But I do kind of want to make a barbed wire obstacle along here. Of course heavily damaged. Okay, let's place this one first and then develop the trench system from there, like behind the little hamlet, the trench between these two positions. So from that I would say one would be, let's make that a smaller one, would be kind of in this area. And grid with texture mode. Put it up a bit here. Yep, in this area. Oh yeah, thanks for zooming out, you piece of shit. It seems to be the position looked slightly in parallel to this path here. Alrighty. Let's move it maybe a bit forward so it's more on top of here. Okay. Then we need to have access to that. I hate placing these, by the way, it's a giant pain in the ass usually. Trenches in general. Although the modular ones are nice. Do we have a long straight one for the last stretch? Well, no. No, let's do it differently. Do we have that one? Apparently not. What is that with 3 covers? What does that mean? Oh! Huh. Okay, I already have some ideas what you could do with that. Curve slope. I don't know if we need that for here. Put it like this first. While we still wait on the chimney. Would be nice to know what angle exactly this is, but this looks fine. Obviously we will replace that earth with snow later, but that's one of the last things you usually do, or I usually do when mapping. Texture suffixing shit. Alrighty, let's go into the terrain editor and do the even less fun part of lowering the terrain in it. And actually, do I want to raise the terrain here? I think, is it floating here a little bit? Or do I just put... One second. Yeah, over here, you know what, I'm just gonna go back and put one of these things down here to mask that. This. I think that is probably the better solution in this particular case, yeah. Again, will look cool as well, I believe. All underground, okay, nice. So, let's do this. Anyway, here we go. The rest of that I will make next video because I'm running out of time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.